AstraZeneca pausing its global trials of a coronavirus vaccine. A participant in the UK suffering an adverse reaction causing that stoppage, as we just told you. The pharmaceutical manufacturer is calling this pause in the trial routine, but it is unclear how long it will last. Joining me right now is advisor to President Trump and coronavirus task force member, Dr. Scott Atlas. And Dr. Atlas, it's great to have you this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Your reaction to this pause in the COVID vaccine at AstraZeneca?
Well, this is one of the reasons why clinical trials are done. This is an indication that the trials are being done safely. Things happen during trials. That's part of the reason why we can't totally predict exactly when things will be available. I mean, this is not anything really unexpected. As they said, it's routine, and these are investigated. But, that's exactly why we're doing the trials. So people should be assured by this.
What's your take on people's feelings out there about actually taking a vaccine? I mean, we have debates all day long about whether or not to get a flu shot, and that's just a flu shot. What about a vaccine and the idea that people are skeptical and may not want to take this, even if it is on the market?
That's true. There is a lot of skepticism, unfortunately, about vaccines in general. Vaccines are super safe, and, it's a mistake not to take a flu vaccine. But speaking of this specific situation, I think it's really unconscionable what people in public arenas are saying about undermining the idea that this is a safe vaccine production process going on. We have the safest drug production in the world. This is something that is done with so many different organizations inside the government involved in the trial. There is a separate independent board of experts that is non-governmental, that is the Data and Safety Monitoring Board. The president and no one in the administration has any input or any knowledge of the data as it goes. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemic here. We have 200,000 people almost have died already, and people are inciting fear into people about the vaccine. I think this is really unconscionable. Frankly, I hate to say it, but they're killing people by doing that. We have people who are high risk. They need the vaccine, and when this vaccine is available, and we're on track to have it available before the end of the year, but again, the timing is unpredictable really with accuracy because it depends on the events that occur during the clinical trial. But, this is something that people should feel extraordinarily confident about. I'm going to take the vaccine. I can tell you that. And everybody I know here is going to take the vaccine.
Well, I mean, you're making a really important point, and that is that, unfortunately, politics is getting involved in a very serious medical issue for Americans. And that is, you heard Kamala Harris the other day say, I don't trust the vaccine. I don't trust Donald Trump. And so that's what you're referring to, correct?
Well, I think that there's a lot of people who are trying to cast doubt on the safety of the process itself. The process itself, again, it's completely independent. The president has zero input into this, and there is zero pressure coming from the president about this. None that I know of. And even if he wanted to, he could not influence the trial. I mean, this is really off the rails. Again, one of the many failures of people in the public sector here, public sphere, who are instilling fear into the public when we just need common sense and logic and just be rational here. This is going to be a safe production. If we're lucky to have capitalized on this incredibly rapid process, we're going to be thrilled to have this vaccine.
So, and by the way, before I continue on the COVID vaccine, you just said it's a mistake not to get the flu shot, right, Dr. Atlas?
That's right. The flu shot is recommended. And if you look at the CDC recommendations, the flu shot is only taken, by the way, by, 50, 60% of Americans, which is a shame. And it's not 100% effective. It's not a magic wand, by the way. No vaccines are. But the flu shot is safe. We've known about this for years. It's important to get. We want to stop the hospitalizations. Okay. We want to stop the people who are going to die from the flu. And tens of thousands every year die from the flu.
Yeah. In terms of a COVID vaccine, Dr. Anthony Fauci said that it's unlikely that a coronavirus vaccine will be released before November's election. He also noted that it is more likely by the end of the year. You said a moment ago you do believe that we will have a vaccine by year end. Is that right?
Well, from what I hear, I'm not intimately involved with the vaccine trial, but I hear the discussions. And what I hear is that we're on track to get the vaccine before the end of the year. No one knows, no one, literally no one, I don't know how strongly I can say that, knows if it will be in October or not. So you can predict all you want that it won't be available. I just think no one knows. It's all about how many infections occur. It's all about the data. It has nothing to do with what somebody thinks is going to happen. But what is on track, according to the people in the trials, is by the end of the year.
So, Dr. Atlas, as we wrap up here, give us your status check of where we are right now in terms of the coronavirus. Obviously, there are worries that we're going to see a second wave in the fall. Here we are in September. Where are we?
Well, we've had a tragic loss of lives. There's no question about that. We've learned a tremendous amount about the virus. We know who to protect. We know who's less vulnerable, and we know that we have to do better in the nursing homes and with the elderly, and the administration is really doubling down on protecting them. But we also know the harms of the lockdown. Prolonging the lockdown is a terrible thing. It's destroying families. It's destroying children. It's sacrificing our children's education and future. We need to safely open the schools in person and do everything we can to do that, or at least have some sort of pathway toward that. And we need to safely reopen society because the lockdown is very harmful. As a public policy person, you have to care about the impact of the policy. It's not just about stopping COVID-19 at all costs.
Yeah, you make a great point. Dr. Scott Atlas, it's good to see you this morning, sir. Thank you very much. We will keep watching. Thank you.